In the heart of the Great Lakes, beneath one of the most fragile freshwater ecosystems on Earth, a quiet war is being waged. A pipeline built in 1953 slices through the lake bed. Its name? Line 5. And now, a billion-dollar tunnel project threatens to keep its aging twin alive.
Line 5 is machine guns pointed to my head, to the head of my children. Machine guns pointed to my job and the job of my partner. Every day, Line 5 is transporting millions of gallons of toxic substances through my community.
Line 5 is a 645-mile pipeline transporting 22 million gallons of crude oil and hazardous gas liquids daily. It's had at least 33 known oil spills. It's owned by a giant Canadian corporation called Enbridge and runs from Superior, Wisconsin through the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and the Straits of Mackinac, through Michigan's Lower Peninsula, then back to Canada at the international border near Port Huron on the US side and Sarnia, Canada. And it's more than 20 years past its engineered lifespan. It's hugely profitable for Enbridge. Every day it operates, Line 5 threatens climate, water, and tribal sovereignty. It must be shut down, and it has to be shut down before there's a catastrophic outcome. Where Michigan residents have been working to shut down what we call America's most dangerous pipeline for more than a decade. It's aging, bent, and far from its intended life. Line 5 is a ticking time bomb in the Great Lakes. Its operator, Enbridge, is responsible for more than 100 environmental and other violations, requiring them to pay more than $283 million in fines. And those fines include an $11 million fine just 2 years ago for polluting Minnesota water, but doesn't include the $1.2 billion in cleanup costs for a massive Enbridge oil pipeline rupture in 2010 in Michigan's Kalamazoo watershed.
To be out on the Great Lakes and watch the sunrise, to feel that water, to feel the earth moving with you, there's nothing better in the world.
When we talk about Nibi or when we talk about water, in our language, it's alive, it has a spirit. If there were a Garden of Eden, that is what the Straits of Mackinac is to our people. When the Line 5 dual pipelines were initially built, tribes were not consulted at all.
Enbridge Line 5 is placed in the worst place on Earth for a pipeline.
Line 5 is a pipeline that's reaching 70 years old. This pipeline has so many risks to it, including the risk of a boat anchor potentially ripping it apart and spilling millions of gallons of oil into 20% of the world's fresh water.
It's a race against either shutting down the pipeline or waiting for a catastrophic oil spill.
The community I grew up in was devastated by the 2010 Enbridge oil spill, which dumped around 1 million gallons into the Kalamazoo River. You couldn't even see water, it was just black. My friends and family had to leave their homes. Not only were people losing their homes, but they were also losing their community.
With the Kalamazoo River oil spill, it felt like there was this collective awakening. Many of our tribal citizens understood the impact that Line 5 could have.
I am a third-generation fisherman. Fishing has been a principal means of livelihood for us. That spill happens, it is going to affect all of those fishing grounds for us immediately.
My home happens to be the closest home to Enbridge's pipeline. Our area relies on tourism. When that pipeline leaks, our economy's shot. There won't be sanitation, there won't be drinking water, there can't be people.
In the next 10 years, what we do is going to decide what happens in the next 100 years.
When we have infrastructure like this that we know is a risk, we have to start to think about what it means as a society to transition away from fossil fuels.
Tying back to water is life, right? That we're all made of water, that we're born from water, that we rely on water and survive with water. And so if we can protect that water, what we're really doing is protecting the future.
Enbridge plans to drill a tunnel under the straits to house a new segment of Line 5. But experts warn, it's a ticking bomb.
Instead of planning for a safe shutdown, Enbridge has been pursuing a controversial and dangerous project to construct a tunnel for Line 5. It is the most complicated, difficult project on Earth. No other company on the planet has done something like this, and Enbridge has no experience doing it. Enbridge itself has identified 35 potential future failure possibilities, and the tunnel boring will take place in the straits underneath the current Line 5 in really terrible bedrock conditions that are less like rock and more like gravel.
If an explosion ruptures the tunnel, over 23 million gallons of oil could be unleashed into the Great Lakes, the drinking water source for 40 million people.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And it's really difficult to think into the future and see what our wildlife will look like if that pipeline breaks. And I can only imagine that our fish will look like this. They'll be dying, laying up on the beach. Our birds will be, their feathers will be full of oil. They'll be laying, dying on the beach. We'll be out there trying to clean them with dish soap.
Fred Harrington remembers when he was a kid, being able to drink the water as he hiked with his father. He thinks if the pipeline breaks, it will pollute the fresh water sources that make Michigan what it is.
Behind closed doors, lawmakers debate permits. Enbridge, the Canadian energy giant, offers jobs, money, stability, but at what cost?